Oh, my. Okay.
Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum?
Good afternoon. Yes, we have a quorum.
Okay, Committee on Ways and Means will come to order for the purpose of budget hearings. Please call the roll.
Each member is acknowledging that they are attending the meeting via Zoom and that they are located in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Commissioner Scott,
Present.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Here.
Commissioner Marecki,
Here.
Commissioner Kinlock,
Present.
Commissioner Anderson,
Here.
Vice Chair Baydun,
Here.
Chair Varga.
Here,
You have a quorum present.
thank you. Next item.
Next item, item B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none right now. Next item.
Item C, budget presentation.
I will call on Mr. Abel. Please identify yourself for the record and introduce our guest.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Mark Gabo. I'm the Commission's Chief Fiscal Advisor. Today's budget hearings will deal with the Probate Court, Department of Information Technology, and the Wayne County Sheriff. And our first distinguished guest is from the Probate Court, the Honorable Judge Burton.
Good afternoon, Judge Burton. Welcome.
Thank you. I had to unmute myself. I was congratulating Mark and all of you. Let me start all over again. Abel, thank you very much for that kind introduction. Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Budget Committee, thank you for giving us this opportunity to appear before you. I had a chance yesterday with Judge Kenny and the Center for Behavioral Health and Justice to meet and talk with you. I thank you very much for taking the time to hear about our behavioral health unit, which is something that's near and dear to all of us. But as to the budget itself, we are in compliance with what the county executive has recommended. And while it's always very difficult, we do understand the difficulties financially for the county. And consequently, we're supportive of what the county executive has proposed. I would note that because of the pandemic, our electronic system had to be upgraded rather rapidly, and consequently, we are actually still hearing cases. We've never closed during the time of the pandemic. We have approximately 60% of our employees who work off-site for their safety and the safety of the community. But it's something I think that they prefer, quite frankly. So that's working well. We've had some difficulties with retaining or obtaining staffing. I guess that's a problem for everyone. It seems that the labor market is shrinking. And so we do have some difficulties, but we think we're making some progress. We currently have a pretty modest vacancy of about 4 out of the 70 employees. We had some early retirements or people who left the job earlier in the fiscal year, but it seems to be settling down a little bit. So we're pretty excited about that, and we're hopeful that we can retain our employees going forward. And then, of course, the behavioral health unit is very, very important to us. It's going to generate a request for additional dollars beyond the general fund budget that we have in place. We're working with the county executive on that issue at this time. And as I've shared with you yesterday, Chair Bell has been very heavily involved in what we're doing regarding the behavioral health unit. So as soon as we have some definitive information, we certainly will be sending it to the commission for consideration and approval. I did have an opportunity yesterday upon request by Chair Varga to have staff send the information that we do have. I trust you have it, Madam Chair. And
You have it. I do have it. Thank you. And
All
I
right.
will share it with the other members as well.
All right, thank you very much. And so if there are any questions, I'm joined by our probate register and director of IT, April Maycock, as well as our budget manager, Kim Zawara. So if you have any questions, we'll be happy to entertain them.
Okay. Commissioners, anyone have any questions?
Yes, I think I
You
raised my
covered so
hand.
many good points.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Commissioner Haddis, I see you now.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Job well done. I enjoy listening to you yesterday, and you crystal clear and you explain everything very well. I have one question. In the past, many of us felt like the jury duty reward money that we give them per day was not enough to cover parking. And you know, the parking gets expensive in downtown. And I don't know if you pay those from your budget. And
Well,
it's been addressed to increase that.
Actually, we have very few jury trials in probate court.
Right, yeah.
In fact, unlike the criminal division of circuit and the civil division of circuit, where they actually have more jury trials, we probably had 10 or 12 all last year. Well, even prior to the pandemic. So we really haven't had a jury trial in well over a year. And we should, as of July 22nd, we were able to begin to hear jury trials again. And so far, I think we've had just one. And so I would say off the top of my head, that issue of payment hasn't come up, but I don't think this court would have any problem with utilizing its general fund dollars to make sure that parking is an issue that is satisfied, because it's obviously very, very important to get jurors down to the courthouse and to make it as comfortable for them as possible.
Thank you. And I hope in the future with the new center, we should be able to waive that parking fee to the jury. But it's up for discussion, but I just want to bring it to your attention. It's been one of the key element and the lack of good response to the jury.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one number was given to me is Wayne County sent like very close to 80,000 summons. We only have a 28, 27 respond.
Sure.
And that was in it. So thank you for everything you do, Judge.
Well, Commissioner, I appreciate that, but we definitely want to make sure people who serve us, particularly as jurors, feel comfortable and not worried about parking, the cost of parking, or the issue of coming downtown. In fact, with our new electronic devices that are in place, aside from jury trials, most people are able to be more comfortable in offering testimony via Zoom, that is from their living room. And we have a docket that's for developmentally disabled individuals. And for years, they would ask, well, Judge, why do I have to bring my family member down who is suffering from a developmental disability? And I said, because the law requires it. Fortunately, now they can do it from their home. And it's I think it's going to be very, very helpful, short-term and long-term, in terms of being appropriate and also minimizing the cost of having to come downtown.
Very good point. Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you. Judge, I think you have the most brilliant IT person, and I really admire all of her knowledge on IT, as she really did ramp up your IT rather quickly.
Well, we're very, very fortunate to have April Maycock. She is absolutely tremendous. And you teed it up rather nicely, Madam Chair, so I have the opportunity to compliment April. She really is a wizard, and we're asking her to wear two hats. and she has very graciously and appropriately been handling all of those chores. And she also has a wonderful staff that works with her in terms of managers. In fact, the budget manager, I don't want to reveal her age, but she's been with us many, many years, and we're grateful to have her. And hope to have her for many, many more. Kim, I don't mean to put you on the spot. And then, of course, we have a response that April may want to talk about a little bit in terms of how they assist her. You have anything you'd like to add, April?
No, you're exactly right, Judge. We are so grateful for our probate response team, which we pulled together the week prior to the pandemic, the week prior to shutting down last March. And it was our top executives at the court, and they have been phenomenal. We literally revamped our entire court system during the pandemic to provide all electronic services to the public. And we were able to maintain 100% of our services and keep the court open and keep everyone safe so they could continue to file everything and provide all the services from the comfort of their own home. So as of today, we are current. We have no backlog in our court, and it's thanks to our awesome staff and our phenomenal executives that we're able to think kind of outside the box on how we can provide these services without a formal e-filing system. So I echo Judge Burton's sentiments in that we have a wonderful staff. So thank you.
Thank you, April.
Thank you.
All right.
We have a list of,
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just going to add to April's comment that, in fact, right now, as we speak, I'm at home, and I suspect they are too, and we're able to communicate just fine. Although it's nice to see people, it's also nice to be able to get this work done as efficiently and effectively as possible.
I'm at home in the comfort of my home working just fine too. I really appreciate the opportunity, although I'm going to have to give it up in another month. So I do have a list. Commissioner Scott, Anderson, and Commissioner Baker McCormick. Commissioner Scott, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Judge Burton, you and your staff for all that you do, and your presentation yesterday, the whole organization. I just think that is just awesome. And I'm looking forward to that getting started. And when will you start hiring some of your people? And I think you said that you was going to use some of your present staff. Is that correct?
We're using 3 of our staff, but we also are folding in all of those general fund dollars that we spend on mental health issues. We would like to get started on the court liaison for the behavioral health unit, who will be the supervisor and will manage the day-to-day operations, reporting directly to April and then to me. And so we actually are anxious to get started. We will get a line item request to the county commission very soon of about $100,000 to address that particular issue within the current fiscal year. So we want to get started right away, and we're real excited about going forward.
Thank you. And I'm excited that you guys are doing this. This is just wonderful. We have needed something so long for the mental health. So thank you again.
Well, we appreciate the leadership of the commission. Remember now, it was in 2015 that all of you got the ball rolling on this issue. So thank you very much.
I remember, and I'm just grateful that it's finally coming to halt.
Thank you.
So thank you. Good to see you again.
You too, Commissioner.
Say hello to the family.
I will. No,
all right.
You likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, Judge Burton.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks for all you do. I mean, you're hearing that over and over, and I think we probably spend more time congratulating you and your staff probably than getting into some nitty gritty. But I do appreciate the way you run the court. And I did want to give a quick shout out to Cynthia that has been very helpful when I've had issues trying to get some information and everything, and she's been very helpful. And then others of your staff, I know they're very professional and they do a great job. One of the questions that I had was just answered about any backlog, and it sounds like you're totally current, and that's great to hear with the challenges that we all faced with the pandemic. It's really impacted different departments differently, I believe, but you've been a standout, and your court has been a standout, I believe, in continuing to do business for the citizens of Wayne County. So that's really all I had. I mean, I did have a question about, as I mentioned, about whether the court was current at this time. I know with all the talk about the mental health issues, and from the meeting that we had, I believe it was yesterday, it's easy to lose track, as many meetings that we have on Zoom.
Yep.
But I wanted to mention, I didn't do it the other day, that I remember when Governor Snyder took over and I was in the Senate, one of the first visitors I had in my office was the head of corrections. He was a former sheriff up in southwest of Lansing, I believe. And he took over, and he came in and he was just beside himself about how many people they were having in the court and the jails or the prisons that had mental health issues. And I knew it was a problem, but I guess I never knew the degree of how serious the problem was. So I look forward to working with you and others, and Judge Kenny and my colleagues on the commission to see what we can do to help stem that tide that continues to be a problem in our society.
Well,
But
we're great. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all I have.
We're grateful for those comments and the support. And you're absolutely right. When you realize that jails around the country are the largest psychiatric institutions we have, which is an absolute disgrace and not effective. It doesn't help the people who suffer from these illnesses. So we really do appreciate your leadership and your commitment and your help with this. And we're happy to come to the commission anytime to offer information that you think pertinent. I would note that it's almost on a personal level when you reference Cynthia. I think you're referencing Cynthia Camilleri, who's my courtroom coordinator. She been with me for 25 years and has, I guess she at some point decided, I can do what these lawyers are doing. So she went to law school, and I suspect and she's graduated. So I suspect very soon she will be leaving me. I will miss her terribly, but who knows? Maybe she'll stay. You never can. So we'll see what happens.
Well, to what you just said a minute ago, I know that when I served on Corrections Committee in the Senate, and one of the things that finally got the attention of our fellow senators across the aisle was the cost that society is paying, and what we're paying for those people that should be getting mental health, mental assistance that are in our prison system. And when we started talking about dollars and cents, many of the ones that were reluctant to do anything, especially for those prisoners that were moving back into society and making that transition, and then recidivism, the degree of recidivism from those folks that had nothing when they came out of prison, even the ones that didn't have the mental health issues. When we started talking dollars and cents, and that started to become part of the discussion across the country, people started looking at it differently. And so I'm looking forward to seeing some great changes in Michigan.
Well, just as a dollar amount, then I'll be quiet, Madam Chair. The average person who suffers from mental illness costs about $6,000 a year. The person who has a mental illness who's incarcerated costs $95,000 a year. And those are public dollars, and it does not work. And it's an inhumane way to treat our fellow citizens.
Mhm.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all you do, and thank you thanks to all your staff.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Great. Here at Wayne County, we resurrected a while back, continuing education, where if our staff want to move over and do some improvement for another type of job within the county, they get reimbursed after tuition reimbursement is what it is. Do you have funding for that in your budget?
I don't believe that we do. Kim, do you recall have anything along those lines in our budget?
Yes, we have some funding for tuition reimbursement in our budget, and we do have the means to provide that included in our collective bargaining agreements.
How much did we utilize in the last year, if you recall offhand?
We don't utilize very much at all. People do not have not been taking advantage of it as of late.
Is there
Even pre-pandemic.
Sure. Maybe we just have to make sure that we encourage, even though, as you point out, Kim, as part of the labor agreement, maybe we can just continue to encourage people to attend classes and pay for a portion of it. Is it because it's just not enough that we're giving, or what amount are we reimbursing? You know?
We just agreed.
Pardon me?
We just increased it in our last, it's 2,600, I think. April, do you remember? I don't want to give you the wrong number, so I can look that up and provide it. But we did just increase it in our the bargaining agreements that we finished up earlier this year.
Great, thank you.
Thanks to Commissioner Dobbs, she brought it to our attention. And so I'm asking everyone to respond on that. Well, you have at least one person who can take advantage of it.
That's
You
true.
just mentioned.
Yep. That's absolutely true. I don't know if she did or not. I don't know if she did or not. That's a good point.
Might be a nice gift.
I just hope it's not a going away gift.
Right. Well, you'll have to work on that one. Yeah. Okay, then we have Commissioner Baker McCormick and Commissioner Kenlock next.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Judge Burton, for all that you do and your team. And the funding.
So you just got muted, Commissioner.
You muted yourself.
Okay, now you can hear me again?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So for the budget that we are currently looking at, does it include a minimum of $15 as we move forward towards that for all employees, or were you already there?
We negotiate, if you're talking about recent negotiations with ASME and GAA and development of contracts, we've done that, we've complied. I'm not real sure I completely understand the $15 that you're referencing.
The minimum, well, we've been talking about $15 an hour for every employee. So what I was asking is, are you there? Or do you know?
We're moving there. We're close. I understand that the information that's been offered from staff is that we are, as part of our budget, we are moving in that direction. I don't know that we have anyone who earns less than $15 per hour working for us. Kim, do you have information?
Yes, we worked with the county on the latest collective bargaining agreements, but we still, and we're moving in that direction. As Judge Burton mentioned, we do still have a couple of people that are currently a little bit under the $15 an hour.
Let me break in real quick and just say in this budget, we are funding $15 for minimum wage.
For all county workers. That, yep.
Right. And that's why I'm
Yes.
asking the question, just
For
to
all.
clarify that's where we're moving in this current budget.
So is that something that's going to be added then to the labor
Yes.
contracts? That's fine.
Oh, I don't know about the labor but what, Madam Chair, something that when I came on, I began talking with the chair and executive as well as the Chair Varga about that $15 minimum wage, because we do have folks who work within Wayne County who are making minimum wage to the point that some of the folks actually qualify for public assistance. And I was going to introduce a resolution, but the Chair Bell and Chair Varga said, let's try to move it, through policy. And I had a conversation with the county executive, and we were able to work out that for all county positions across the county, that is an assumption within the budget that all wages will begin at least at $15 an hour. So I definitely want to take your hat off again to both the chair of the commission, the chair of the committee, for really working with the executive and I, making that happen. What I want to say is, Judge Burton, you're legendary as far as your work and your commitment as a probate judge. And I absolutely am one of the newest members of not only the commission, but also the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network Board. And that's all the conversation has been, a lot of the conversation has been centered around working with communities to partner in finding ways of providing some sort of resource outlet in order to address mental health issues in our criminal justice system. We have the crisis center that is opening up on Woodward, in which we absolutely are having conversations about how do we continue to expand resources and partnerships with the criminal justice system, because jail is not where we need individuals to be housed who have mental health issues. So I just want to let you know that I'm glad to be joined along with this commission to stand with you and with Judge Kenny and the prosecutor in trying to continue to find funding sources and programs to lessen the path or basically the conveyor belt of sending people with mental challenges, instead of to get resources and help, sending them to into our jail system.
Well, Commissioner Kenlock, I really appreciate those words of support. I want to first simply address the $15 per hour rate. Probate court is certainly supportive of such a plan, and if you approve it, we will certainly implement it whether it's a policy, and I suspect the county executive's office is very much supportive. As to your role in the DWIN board and what you're doing with the Crisis Intervention Center that's being refurbished is extremely important to the collaboration that we're doing. I mean, I tip my hat to the leadership that's provided by Eric Doa. I know he's interim, but I'm a huge fan. He's open, he provides information. I got a call one night about a week and a half ago, and I had to reach out to Eric about 9 o'clock at night, and he was available and got the thing done in terms of what we're trying to accomplish. Our model comes from the Miami-Dade project, and your component, what you bring to it in terms of information sharing, data sharing, absolutely critical. You should be very proud of your board and your management leadership. We've dragged Jacqueline Davis into it, and she's been great. And so thank you so much for participating and providing your support. And we look forward to working with you more closely.
And thank you again for swearing me in.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I think we would enjoy having you at the county commission level too. You seem like you probably did a lot of things that we didn't even know while you were serving here. Vicar
I enjoyed it.
McCormick, I'm sorry you were sort of cut off. Do you have anything else?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Baker McCormick? 1 second, please. Commissioner Baker McCormick?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm good. I was cut
Wait.
off, but that's fine. I think the question was answered. So thank
I'm
you.
sorry, Commissioner McCormick.
That's okay. That's all right. The question was answered. Thank you.
I just wanted to give you that apology. Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you. Something I did think of that's working its way, I think percolating in the legislature has to do with guardianship, Judge. And I just wondered if you could give us your perspective on that and what you know that might be happening with that legislation, or has it even been put into legislative, prospective bills?
I think it's winding its way through the House and the Senate. The Michigan Probate Judges Association has been working with the legislators, with the Michigan Supreme Court to address a variety of issues that are being raised by way of guardianship. And I think that we all would like to minimize the need for guardianship. And if we do have guardianship, as the law currently states, that we look for a family member first before we talk about guardianship agencies. In fact, whenever I petition for guardianship, that's the question I ask. If an agency is nominated, why don't we have a family member who might be available? And I'm going to tell you that that's a real challenge for a lot of family members who would like to serve, but may not be in a position to actually carry out the duties of serving as guardian. So we just don't know yet what's going to happen. I think that there's some things in the proposed bills that have some overlap with what we already have in place. In other words, if we've got some laws in place that can be better utilized and better implemented, then I think part of that, interestingly enough, will go to additional training for our judges, and which is ongoing. But it's clear to me that we need to achieve a level of sensitivity and minimize the need to actually provide legal guardianship whenever we can.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that perspective.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Baker McCormick?
Yeah.
You're muted again.
I have you on the list again.
I don't know how I keep doing that there. But Commissioner Anderson just reminded me of a question that I did want to ask.
Sure.
In reference to probate related situations, in which I was wondering if there is any workshops that you provide or have over the years that help people through the process. I know for sure in my Northwest Detroit district that there are so many people, that passed away from COVID, and their families are really going through a lot of changes because they have to go through probate. Is there any preventative measures that you have taken or take to help people understand the processes?
Well, first of all, you can always go to our website and get just a ton of information about probate court, probate policy, petitions for guardianship, conservatorship, petitions for probate administration when a person has passed away, or like again, a guardianship or a conservatorship matter where there are funds that need to be managed. We have had several judges over the years who have made presentations upon request, and certain that we could do that going forward. We have training that has been provided through staff that we can provide. One of the things I guess we need to look at too is actually developing a slide presentation that can be simply shared with you whenever you like to present it to your constituents. And I think that's something that I may ask the Center for Behavioral Health and Justice to assist us with. They did appear with us yesterday. And they've been just wonderful. They're affiliated, as you well know, with Wayne State University and the School of Social Work, led by Dean Kubiak. So I will be happy to work with you, Commissioner, in terms of developing something along those lines that will be something we can present to each and every one of you so that you can take it into your community.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right.
Judge Burton, I know that I know what the function of the probate court is. Sometimes people can do things while they're living to stay out of probate court for their relatives, such as putting them on the bank account, maybe putting them on the deed of the house. Is there anything on your website that says you should, I'm gonna have to check it out now. That would say, these are some of the preventative things that, or some of the things you ought to think about while you're living.
Well, if you go to our website, www.wcpc.us, we'll be happy to send that along. You'll be able to go through and see quite a bit of information. But there's something you have to keep in mind. Judges can't give legal advice in terms of how to manage your affairs. It's a tricky balance. I don't want to get in any trouble with the Supreme Court. But I can tell you this. I can definitely tell you that there are ways to bypass probate administration. Much like you hear about these super billionaires who don't pay any taxes. There's a way to bypass some of their trust opportunities. You want to put your assets in a trust. There are last will and testament. There are insurance policies where you want to take care of individuals, and you may want to look at something like that. Why is that significant? Because if you designate a beneficiary of an insurance policy, it does not go through probate. It just goes directly to
401k the same.
Yeah. And
401k the same way.
Yeah. Sounds like you got your bar card already, Chair Vargas. So
No, I just have my stuff together.
There you go.
I don't want my family to go through a lot of paperwork. I pretty well have it all set.
Yeah, if you can,
Thank you very much. Any other? No, they'll probably have to still come to you. But
they can come to me and we'll lead in the right direction.
Exactly. Hope not for a long time. Right. Any other commissioners who have any questions? Any staff? The last word is yours. Mark Abbo.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. No, just commendations to Judge Burton and his staff. They did a good job. This is pretty much it was a very straightforward budget, status quo. Actually, the CEO was recommending a little more than they had requested, and it's coming out of fund balance and an allocation from the general fund. So it is pretty straightforward, and kudos, Judge, for all the things that you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
You may stay with us, or we'll go on to the next item just the same. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Have a good afternoon, all.
Mr. Abbo, our next presenter.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Our next area is technology, and I believe Hector Roman will be presenting on behalf of the technology department. Hector?
Yes, hello everyone. How's everyone doing?
Fine, how are you?
Great, thank you.
Good, good. So bear with me. This is my first time going through this. So do I just go through the line items? Or do you guys have any questions?
Well, why don't you give us a sort of an overview of the vision for the next budget season? And we'll start with that and go from there.
Sure, sure. I've also asked Majid Esak to be on a call, and then Cheryl Reuter as well. So I'm sorry, Majid, can you also speak to this as well?
Is the budget that you were given sufficient to do all of your programming?
Yeah, yes, it is. Majid, you're on mute if you're trying to talk. Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, now you hear me now? I'm sorry.
We can hear you.
You hear me?
Please identify yourself.
Okay,
Yes.
this is
Would you
Majid.
identify yourself?
Okay, this is
And your
Majid.
title.
Sure. This is Majid Esak, the finance manager in Department of Information Technology. I have been working, with the department for almost like 16 years, and Wayne County more than 26 years. This year we have a very decent budget. Actually, what we requested, the management budget, to give us some kind of like increase, because most of our, or all of our revenue come from the chargeback department. We have some increases, in some area. That is because most of our contract, as you know, it has been increased from year to year, as technology cost, increased. And most of our project, are really well designed, and we make sure that we have everything covered, during next year. One of the most, like, as you know, most of the project has been done at the VoIP service, which is a voice over internet. So we are moving almost like completely from the centric service, to the VoIP over IP. We just have few lines now that we have to keep, just for elevator, for some kind of emergency, for credit card, something like that. So we have to keep, but most of our services, or most of our circuit, had been moved to the VoIP service. I don't know, do you have any question, about anything about number? This is like a brief description, about what you're looking for next year.
What projects are out there that you have to finish yet?
Chair, Madam Chair, if I might,
right.
Madam Chair, if I might, this is Mark Abbo.
Yes.
Hector and
Yes.
Patrick, one of the biggest items that's facing the county, and it's from a perspective that when an organization is falling on hard times and has liquidity issues, one of the first things they do is defer capital expenditures. And for the longest time, everybody is aware that we deferred things that needed to be done with JD Edwards. So we're in the midst of an ERP project, and I noticed that there have been some structural changes to how we're managing that. Could you enlighten us in what is going on there and whether we're on track? We originally had a budget of $30 million for that project, and I'm hearing that it's increasing. Where do we stand with that? Are we still on track to complete, the project within the next year or so?
This is Hector Roman. So I would defer that to management and budget to provide answers to regarding that project.
Okay. What about then the issues with our status with hardware and software, Hector? Again, one of the first things organizations do is they defer expenditures, capital expenditures. Are we in the 21st century yet? Do you see any major needs going forward to upgrade, the county's use of technology?
Actually, yes. So we have been moving over from antiquated Office suites to Microsoft Office 365 as we move more services to the cloud. The emails was first, doing Office suite upgrades, and then moving from a very antiquated document management system over to SharePoint Online, which would provide much needed usability and features for both documents that are shared in-house amongst departments, and also if the documents need to be shared with outside entities. Fortunately, last year not fortunately, but last year during the beginning of the pandemic, we had to accommodate a remote workforce. Our existing infrastructure at that time was not able to accommodate the increased usage of VPN users, people coming in from their home through our data centers. So fortunately, we were able to use some CARES Act funding to purchase new hardware to accommodate the new workforce. And so we had 2 hardware purchases last year that were both covered under CARES. And it made a big difference as far as what we're able to support going forward.
All right, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any questions from commissioners? I guess if there will be, we'll call you back.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
if no other commissioners on
Yes.
the committee have a question, I do. If you don't
I have
mind.
a question, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Dot, welcome.
Thank you.
I'll
I'll
let you
defer
go,
to
and then,
Commissioner Baydun since he's
No,
on
no,
the
go ahead.
committee.
Go ahead, Commissioner Dobb. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
He's
my
a gentleman. You want to go
Yes.
first.
My question is, Hector, does your department handle the content of waynecounty.com and the design of the website and the structure of it?
The overall design and structure, yes. The content is responsibility of departments. They have the ability to update the content, add, remove documents, edit their content. It goes through an approval process. But yes, departments have the ability to manage their own content. That's something in the near future, we'll be looking at kind of revamping our website for it to become more modern and more flexible as far as like different languages. I've looked at other counties, other cities, and they have the ability to click a button and it's not English anymore. It can be in Spanish or it can be in other languages.
Okay, wonderful. That was going to be my follow-up question, was that do we have any plans for revamping it? I've had I've had some complaints about not being able to find things on our website, and I haven't had any complaints about the languages, but I think that is a wonderful idea. Our county is so diverse that that's a wonderful idea if we can get that going. So wonderful
absolutely.
to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sure. Commissioner Baydun, then Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hector, I got a quick question. With the ongoing pandemic, and as you can see, we've been virtual now for over a year. A lot of things are being done virtually. How has the pandemic impacted your department and How has that impacted your budget, so to speak?
Last year, when the county was going through furloughs and layoffs, we did have staff who, if they weren't allowed in buildings, then, at that time, they were able to be furloughed. And then as staff started coming back into the offices, then we had staff back, specifically like our desktop support team. The majority of our department is still remote. We have some groups that unfortunately cannot be remote. So we have some desktop technicians that are here at the Guardian and at 400 Monroe supporting, different departments. But as hopefully the pandemic, subsides and people are coming back into the workforce, we will accommodate that as well. Have staff on site or have more staff on site, as employees come on site as well.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Dobb touched on something that I was going to mention also, that a great deal of work needs to be done on the site. I know as sites get stale from not being revamped over a period of time, it becomes a problem for all of them. But I'd hope that some changes will be made to make it more intuitive, less steps, less having to drill down to find things. It's just, even for myself, I find sometimes things that are very difficult to get to the page you need to get to get the information for someone. So I hope you'll keep that in mind, and maybe even have someone that totally is divorced from Wayne County to get a sense on how difficult it is to find something. I think it would be helpful, because most of the citizens that use the website and we refer them to the site sometimes are not familiar with the way things are set up, and they wind up calling us back and say, I can't find it. So, and then some of us struggle to find the specific thing they're looking for. But with that said, I hope that'll be relatively soon, because it certainly needs a revamping. And I think somebody maybe getting input from the commissioners, from what they've heard from people, as well as other parts of the county, I think would be very beneficial when going through this process.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree. Yeah, it's not as user friendly as it can be. And when we start looking at that project, it would be kind of a collaborative effort that we'd reach out to different departments and you guys, since you guys deal with constituents, kind of your feedback as well, and your input in that project.
Okay. And so are we going to get a report on the JD Edwards after this meeting? I don't think the person that you referenced was going to be on this call or is on the call. So I think that's extremely important, because it's costing the county, so much money that and we can't be left hanging much longer because we're just we're risking having a meltdown, and I know you know how important that is, and basically would shut the county payroll and everything down. So anyway, do you have any idea when we're going to get some type of response on that from?
I'll relay that information, and you should be able to get a response soon.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone who has issues with our website, I would encourage not wait, but every time you find something, if you send it to the director, at least they could have some idea of what to look for when they do start revamping it, or it might be a quick fix that they could do in the meantime. So communication is always a good thing to send to them immediately when you find an issue. Thank you, Hector. it might be fruitful for us, Mr. Abel, if we could have like 5-minute chime in later on sometime in the budget process by the IT director on that issue, and the JD Edwards.
Right, well, Hector indicated that that's under the control of MNB, so I've made a note, and when we get to MNB, we'll make sure that we ask that question, because I know that Matthew Dubé has come back to deal with that issue, and I know that our CFO is heavily involved in that, so we'll make sure that we get our arms around status.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners who are on the committee or others who have joined have any questions? If not, thank you, Hector and everyone. Mr. Abel, on to our next present.
Yeah, the next department is our sheriff department. And I don't know if our sheriff is here yet. It was supposed to start at 1:30.
He's signed on.
Oh,
Give him a
And
second. This is Sumaya.
There you go,
Yes, sir.
Sumaya. How
Yes.
are you? So
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I assume that
He's walking over here right now, Sumaya.
Yep. Okay.
It'll be
1
by
minute.
our sheriff and Sumaya Harp.
Oh, we have a huge team with us too. So
If you may
anytime.
want to introduce them, Sumaya.
Yeah, I'll give that to the sheriff when he comes on. He'll introduce everybody. Thank you.
Well,
We're on
4
time.
minutes early, 3 minutes early. Yeah. we're
That's
on time.
amazing.
The other day the other day
Let's
we're an hour and a half late for roads. So,
Hello.
if
Hi,
any time
Sharon.
members,
Hello.
commissioners, if you don't see me calling on you and you've had your hand up and I don't see it, just go ahead and chime in. I want to make sure that you all get your chances to speak.
Okay, the sheriff is on. The
Good
sheriff just tried
afternoon,
to
Mr.
speak.
Sheriff.
Good afternoon. How are you, Commissioner Varga?
I'm doing great. So good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
I saw you all over Facebook with my staff, Jesse Gonzalez, with the recruiting.
Yes, we're out there trying to get people into our agency.
That is wonderful.
Yes.
Alrighty, we're gonna start with your presentation. So welcome, please state your name and your title, and then you can take it and introduce whoever you want to, or you can go ahead and speak and then introduce them later on, however you want to. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you.
The mic is yours.
Thank you so much. So I'm Raphael Washington, Wayne County Sheriff. And on the line, I have some of my staff members. I have my executive chief with me, Daniel Fanis. And then I have Sumaya Harp, my administrative director, who handles our finance as well as our HR. Then there's Under Sheriff Mike Jafer on the line, or should be. I can't see them, so I'm sorry. Yeah, so he's on the line as well. And three of my deputy chiefs, Tanya Guy, Scott Gotti, and Dennis Ramel. And so before I get started, actually, I don't see the sheet that we're going to. Is that the one, our presentation? But nevertheless, I have it. Yeah, I have it. So they're supposed to bring it up. Okay, so Commissioner, before I get started, commissioners, we lost our sheriff and about 3 others in our agency due to the COVID-19 virus, and I'd just like to have a moment of silence before I start mine, if that's okay with you.
That is fine.
All right, so we'll have a moment of silence. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And before I get started, I don't see it. I'm sorry. Okay, I don't see
Thank you.
I don't see the PowerPoint on the screen, but I have it in front of me. Can you all bring that up, or I'll just start from what I have in front of me. I hope you all have the PowerPoint, or you can see it.
Just 1 second, please.
Sure.
Samaya, no one commented on your hat. Nice hat.
I'm waiting, Commissioner. Madam Chair, I am waiting.
Beautiful hat. You got the right hat
Thank
on
you,
today.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, I tell you, I'm not gonna comment on the hat because the head, it's better than the hat.
All right.
Oh, thank
Go,
you. It
Kat.
always touches my heart. Always.
Excuse me,
Sheriff
Samaya.
Washington.
So we're ready.
Yes.
Sheriff Washington.
Yes.
We always look to see what kind of hat Samaya will have on
Gotcha.
for our Zoom meetings. So we always comment on her hat. We
I
wanted to have you inside, in on the joke that we have.
Gotcha. Well, I love the hat she's wearing as well. She's representing
Thank you, sir.
well. Yes, yes.
How come it says Oakland County?
No, it doesn't say that, Commissioner. I'm sure it doesn't say that, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yes. So are we on? Are they ready?
Excuse me, Samaya, you're able to share your screen now?
Okay.
Could you give access to the sheriff, because the sheriff has our IT director with him, so he can share the screen, please. I'm still working remotely.
He said he has to queue it up. Hold on 1 second. Who will switch? Me or you? Okay. Who will switch this time? Me or you? Answer for you. Okay, there we go. Well,
Should look like this.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, man, they need, I tell them all the time, man. My eyesight, they gotta help me.
No.
I think we're sharing. Can you guys all hear?
There you go. Yes.
So are you going to advance?
Yeah, just tell me no one.
All right, all right. All right, so we can get started, advance to the mission statement. So I'll start with our mission statement of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office.
Great.
The Wayne County Sheriff's Office is committed to serving and protecting the public and providing quality law enforcement to all. You can advance it. So I'll start with our executive sheriff's office divisions, and we'll start with the executive division, which is comprised of internal affairs, internal controls, discipline, technology, budget and finance, personnel and payroll, procurement, grants, and special projects. It also consists of our court division, which provides security for all courts, criminal, civil, juvenile, and friend of the court. We serve civil process and engage in friend of the court enforcement, civil, and felony warrants. Court Services Administration consists of sheriff sales, judicial sales, and mortgage foreclosure, service of process, and writ of executions. And we have the jail divisions, which operate three jail facilities, including but not limited to food service, security, for Medical and Mental Health Operations, Tether Units and Training Division. Then there's the police operations, Park Patrol, Secondary Road Patrol, Marine Unit, Municipal Support Enforcement Unit, our CPL unit, Regional Dispatch for Jail and Patrol units, and the Wayne County Community College District unit. Sheriff's Office mandated services, which are our operation of the jails, which includes internal affairs, internal controls, prisoner transportation training, court security and services, park patrol, road patrol, and marine patrol. The Sheriff's fiscal 2022 budget caveats. The Sheriff's Office budget fiscal 22, hold on. Fiscal 22 budget is predicated on budget caveats. And so the budget caveats are, the budget is predicated on full staffing in the jails. Based on current information, there will be 345 budgeted but unfulfilled police officer vacancies on day one of the budget year. This represents over 44% of non-supervisory jail officers. Each vacancy is backfilled at an overtime rate. The jail population number is a projection. Outside forces affect the size of the jail population. So during COVID-19, our population declined. However, it is now creeping back up. Jail population is 1,223, and the tether population is 1,714. The sheriffs and the CEO offices continue to meet on a monthly basis to develop and implement efficiencies in the operation for the sheriff's office, including but not limited to civilianizing positions and hiring of retired law enforcement staff in the courts, tether, and other areas. The sheriff's office will make every effort to achieve revenue projections. However, it must be noted that the sheriff's office does not have unilateral control of what is actually generated. The sheriff's office will continue to work with the CEO's office to obtain funding for priority capital equipment and procurement needs and the sheriff's office. So our challenges: recruitment police officers and project consultants. $35,000 per year starting pay for the Wayne County Sheriff's Officer. $35,000 per year starting pay for Wayne County Sheriff's Office. $44,000 per year starting pay for a Detroit police officer. $40,000 per year starting pay for an Oakland County officer. $50,000 per year starting for a Macomb County officer. So retention of staff and attendant expenditures overtime. For fiscal year 2022, police officer staff vacancies 345. Attrition rate for the fiscal year 2021, we hired 19 and lost 58 people. 328 officers submitted FMLA leave time. 328 officers submitted FMLA leave time. Capital needs, vehicles and dispatch radio system, ongoing building repairs and maintenance replacement of the Marine unit base. So what you see there is pictures of the current Marine unit and the challenges and the damage that needs to be, that's currently involved in a place that they're using. So we're looking forward to being able to build a new space for our Marine unit to be able to operate within a place that is very efficient for them to do so. Staff budget highlights. Total CEO recommended 1,095 full-time employees. Total projected general fund, general purpose revenue is 117,997,774. Total other revenue is 45,404,805. So the total projected revenue is 163,402,579. So thank you for the opportunity to present the Sheriff's Office fiscal 2021-22 budget. If there's any questions at this point, I'll be available to answer.
Okay, let me start off by saying that we've had some requests by commissioners and also by your staff for Elizabeth Park to finish the dock that we started and also to get you a new building there. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So as I was told, and my undersheriff is on, Mike Jafer, who was very instrumental with working with Commissioner Basham to get this project done. The place is dilapidated. I've been out there a few times, and as we showed the holes in the walls and things that animals are getting into the place, that we definitely need a new building to be able to operate efficiently and keep our officers even safe while working out there. We have some that work full time out there, even through the winter months. It gets challenging, more challenging for them even at that point. And the dock, which is very important because of the age of it, as well as the challenges with water overrunning and things of that nature. It's important to build it up and make sure that, again, we're keeping ourselves safe as well as citizens in that area that may happen to visit the area as well. And again, my Undersheriff Jafer, I don't know if he can he get in, Steve?
He's on.
If he can hear me, he can chime in as well because he's been spearheading that project up from our agency, from our end as well. Undersheriff?
I've been talking to him quite a bit, but go ahead. Undersheriff Jafer.
Can they get in? Do you all have control over him muting or no? Because I can't see him.
Okay, I apologize. I had it on mute. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Varga. Thank you, Commission as a whole. Like Commissioner Varga stated, we have talked. They have been intimately involved in assisting our agency and rectifying that issue. Commissioner Basham has been intimately involved. Commissioner Baydoun, Commissioner McCormick, all of them have came out, gone for a ride, and I sincerely appreciate it on behalf of the Sheriff's Office. You guys have seen exactly what is needed. Like the Sheriff stated, I think you summed it up right on, Sheriff. You were there a couple months ago with our boater safety. The dock is dilapidated. The building is also dilapidated. We are a major function in this county. We are called upon all over this county when individuals either drown, go overboard, suicide, etc. Unfortunately, it's been happening more than normal, and it's well needed. I'd really like to thank the Commission on spearheading and assisting and taking our call seriously, because without you, we would have never got this far. So with that being said, thank you.
Commissioner, Madam Chair, just wanted to absolutely say that myself and Commissioner Basham, when we went out there, we called you from the Marine, from their offices, and we began to push the urgency of it. And you, I want to say, convened a meeting immediately to consider immediate plans to bring about where we are today. And so I absolutely commend the sheriffs and his team who stayed on top of it, bringing it to the attention of the commission, and the county executive, who immediately supported the efforts by the chair and the conversations that we had regarding bringing this about, because we're trying to find a grant situation, but then the chair agreed with me, forget the grant, let's just put it in a budget. And so we're here today, and I really am excited about that.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenlock, as well. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Commissioner Kenlock.
You know, I don't want to leave anybody out. Commissioner Baydoun, we all really worked hard. I know when I got the call from Commissioner Kenlock and Commissioner Ray, Ray Basham. You know, how can you say no? You know, no, I have worked very hard with the unit in the past. I've done some ordinances for them in the past. And so it's only right that you have the buildings that you deserve and the equipment that you deserve to be able to do a good job. So let's all take credit where credit
Absolutely.
is due, and
All of us.
don't want to leave anybody. I don't want to leave anybody out. So you know who you are. But Commissioner Baydoun is also, you know. So I got all these guys coming at me, you know, wanting this stuff. So I have to say yes, right?
Thank you so much, Commissioner, for saying
Of
yes.
course I would champion.
Yes.
Of course I would champion it on everyone's behalf. Commissioner Kinlock, I have a list though. So if we could go back to it, Commissioner Baydoun and Haddis was on the list prior to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had my hand raised. But anyway,
I know.
Sheriff Washington, Under Sheriff Jafer, Somaya, thank you all for everything that you're doing in the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. Yes, I had the opportunity last year, thanks to Commissioner Basham. He invited me. I believe at the time, if I'm not mistaken, Commissioner McCormick was with me. I can't remember who else was, to be quite honest with me. That was about a year ago.
Dodd.
And the Commissioner Dodd.
Yeah.
I was very shocked at what I saw, that this was the Marine unit for the largest county in the state of Michigan, and the condition of the dock and the building is horrible, to say the least, quite honestly. I am in full support of this, and it's long overdue. But I'm also a little bit troubled by the fact that, you know, we can't even attract new talents to the sheriff's office because of the low starting salary of $35,000. That's not a way for somebody to start a family. And I feel your pain, Sheriff Washington, and I don't know what we could do in terms of, you know, making this more beneficial or attractive for people to come and join the sheriff's office. But I feel, thank you, Sheriff Washington, for stopping by in Dearborn last week, and he was passing out flyers and talking to people and soliciting, you know, anybody that wants to join the sheriff department. But you have my support, and anything that we can do, Sheriff Washington and Under Sheriff Jafer, we're here for you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Baydoun. And I did, as you said, I was out there, and I'm everywhere. I keep a stack of pamphlets that we're hiring in my car. Wherever I am, I'm passing out pamphlets myself as the sheriff to say we have to get people in our agency. But as you said, we have to create some kind of pathway to where they want to be there. And I think we not only talk about the wonderful career that it is, that most of us are, and a lot of us are over 30 years in law enforcement because we love the profession, and we always have. And I think we can talk about that and talk about that to those who we want to come into our agency, but we also have to make it attractive and competitive as well. And because this generation that we're talking to, you know, when I always say, when I came into the agency, I really, 38 years ago, into the Wayne County Sheriff's Office in 1983, I can't tell you what the salary was because it didn't matter to me. I was going to build my life around whatever it paid. But now these young people and those who are coming in, and it doesn't make it a bad thing, they want to know, what does it pay? You know, and they want to know some other things that we didn't want to know at that time. But I can't be mad at them. And so when I say what it pays, and then they say, well, Oakland County or Macomb County or someone else is paying $5,000, $6,000 more dollars than what you're paying, they have options.
Yeah.
And so we have to make it some kind of way. And to the CEO's credit, I spoke with him about it, and he agrees, having been the sheriff himself. And we just have to get to where where that happens. And we have partnered with the CEO's office at his request that his office and our office work together with how we best recruit and create the pathway to get people in as he's looking to at some point make sure that we are competitive as we compete with other law enforcement agencies who are all short. So they don't have a problem coming into our agency or as we say, kind of sneaking around and offering jobs to even our people to come out of our agency to go to theirs. And so the CEO's office is aware. We're working together. And commissioners, I just want you all to be aware as well with whatever you can do. We have to be competitive. We have to be competitive if we want to fill these budgeted positions that we have, and we do want to fill them. So just wanted to add that to your comments, Commissioner Baydun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have anyone else on the list? Commissioner Hattis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Sheriff Washington, for good presentation. And I have a couple of questions. You mentioned you budgeted for 1,095 officers.
Yes.
Is that include the vacancy or without the vacancy?
That includes the vacancies, yes.
That include the vacancy.
Yes.
Is there was any discussion or plan on raising the starting salary, or we talk about how bad it is and we're not doing nothing about it? Or we need to fill those vacancies.
Yes.
We need to find the solution and do it, not only, we as a politician, sometime we have to depend on the leadership of each department to be able to execute and show us the importance of certain issue, which one more important than the other. I know there are many things the sheriff department need. I could tell you right now, and many other issue they need to be fixed. But if we don't have the body to do the job, then we have a problem. So what's the plan on increasing the salary to raise it up to be comfortable, at least to 40,000?
Yeah, so Commissioner, we're in arbitration right now on that very issue. And the thought is that we do need to raise it to 40,000. But again, we're in arbitration and it's been offered, and we just need to see what happens what comes out of the arbitration hearing.
And then in the past, I asked a few questions, and Sheriff Jaffer and Sumaya and the late sheriff, they was very good and open with me and educating me on the stuff I don't know about the sheriff department. And the main question is moving to the new facility as soon as the new jail finish. It's going to be huge saving in the sheriff department operation.
Yes, that is true, Commissioner. And I just wanted to expound a little bit more on that, on the piece of where we are in arbitration. And my executive chief, Finance, is on the line with us, and he's intimately involved in those, negotiations. So I'm gonna let him speak to that briefly as well, if it's okay.
Good,
Yes,
good to hear
go
from
ahead.
him. He's well experienced, from chief of police to under sheriff. I mean, I believe in his experience and knowledge too.
Well, thank you for that, Commissioner. I appreciate it. I've always appreciated your support. Madam Chair, thank you for letting me just offer some additional information that may be illuminating. So as of right now, we're involved in a.
Could you state your name? I'm sorry. Could you state your name and title again?
Oh, I'm sorry, Madam Chair. My name is
For the
Daniel
public?
Thomas. I'm the Executive Chief at the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Mhm.
And at this point in
Go ahead.
time, the County of Wayne is involved in a Public Act 312 arbitration process with the union, where each side has presented their last best offers, and an independent arbitrator will make a decision as far as whose offer will be accepted on each of the various issues. The sheriff has recognized that pay is an important requirement to help induce people to come work here. As a result of that, the county's proposal eliminated some of the existing starting steps. And as of October of 2021, the starting pay would become $40,000. In addition, the rest of the membership, depending on their level of pay, would receive a 2.5% wage increase for year one and a 2.5% wage increase for year two. We proposed a 2-year contract because that will take us right up to entry into the new jail system, which would require us to negotiate some other issues as operations will change as things become more efficient for us. Thank you for allowing me to present that information.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, good news. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So as I always say, commissioners, optics is everything. If the people can see that we're competitive as we're out doing the work of recruiting, I think they'll choose to come to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office.
Excellent. Is there any plan and any fixing or enhancing the building on Henry Ruff?
Oh, that's a good question. Under Sheriff Jafer, have you been in any talks or spoken to anyone about that? Under Sheriff Jafer is kind of out there. Those units out there are under his command. So, Under Sheriff, you have anything to add to that?
We're going to go over to.
Did he? Can you hear me, Under Sheriff Jafer? Steve, you want to call him and make sure that he's on the line. So I think Commissioner Basham.
You know what? I'm sorry, Sheriff. For some reason I couldn't get off mute. I apologize.
All right.
But yeah, to your question, the Commissioner Haddis specifically assisted us in taking care of that lot. The lot obviously was unfortunately a Band-Aid situation. We really need to take care of that whole lot. It needs to be totally ripped out and redone, and the building itself needs to be updated majorly. So with that being said, I know the commissioners, I know Commissioner Basham is often out there as he rides with our officers on different details. The building itself, without question, needs some major renovation. I know that Commissioner Haddis was assisting in getting someone to get the building next door demolished. I don't know where we are with that, because that right there is a big part of the equation. But with that being said, we did have talks, but nothing really carved in stone.
Thank you, Under Sheriff, and I just want to echo that, commissioners. That is a place that we definitely want to keep, and we want to keep it up as we go into a new jail. Those units that we have out there, there's no way that they'll be transferred over to where we are, where we'll be at the new facility. So it's very important that we have a presence throughout Wayne County, that being in the Western Wayne area, end of it. So we will be there, and we do think it should be a place where the public can appreciate, as well as our staff that are working out there.
Well, Sheriff, I want to thank you and thank Sheriff Jafar. He asked about the building next door. They finish demolishing the bakery on the site of Eloise. And I think the next demolition is going to be that building next to you. And now we looking into the future. How can Wayne County enhance this service and make it easier for the citizen of Wayne County, no matter where you're at? In that location on Henry Ruff, it's central and important to Western Wayne County. It serves good size of population, and I find something I hope would get the support of everybody in the future, not necessarily right now, but we need to think about it because now we have our plate, it's full, the new jail and many other projects, road, bridges. But in the near future, we need to demolish that sheriff building over there, and the building next to it gonna be demolished soon, and build a new facility would have the sheriff department presence and a few satellite for Wayne County services. The clerk, Wayne County clerk, have a satellite next door to you, and the facility size for them, it's a small. You go over there, sometimes you see boxes all over the place, and you see, if you have a 3-4 customer, they jam behind the counter. So we need to think about how can we match the good service with good facility to make sure our employee are comfortable and well equipped to provide those services. My vision to the future is to have a beautiful building over there that house the sheriff and some satellite for Wayne County.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And as if we already know, we have to have budgets ready to go for future budgets. And there's never too early to plan such a big endeavor as that. I have a list again. I would like to have Mark Abbo ask a few questions, and then Martha G. Scott and Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to follow up a little bit on a point that Commissioner Haddis raised. We're quickly moving from constructing a new jail to occupying a new jail, and I know that it'll be done in short order. One of the justifications for actually building the jail was the savings that we could generate. And I realized that those savings may not be in the form of actual cash flow, but they will be in the form of savings against our budget. We've got 1,095 full-time equivalents and 345 unfilled positions. So I've got to believe that as we plan the occupancy of the new jail, that we'll realize that we may not need all of those 345, and it'll drop as we occupy the jail, and also as a result of increasing wages. So Sheriff, I'm just asking the question, as we go through this process of planning the occupancy, do you think that those savings are real? And to what extent, and what do we have any sense of what effect it'll have on the unfilled positions?
I'm sorry. I was talking as a sheriff. My executive chief has some thoughts on some of that, and I'm in agreement with it. So I'll let him speak to some of that, our budget director.
Through the chair, Mr. Abel, this is Dan Fanas, the executive chief. Right now, as you know, are aware, we have 340 vacancies. What we can safely predict is when we go into the new jail, we'll be able to supervise the inmates at a better, more efficient ratio, which will require less officers. We're not able to predict exactly what the savings in officer staff will be at this point in time. We're still in consultation with the county's business rep and the architectural firm that is building the jail to put a staffing plan into place. Once that staffing plan is in play, we'll be able to have the ability to estimate how many of those current vacancies would be eliminated by the fact that we wouldn't need those positions to staff the new jail. But at this point in time, we're not able to make that projection. It has not been completed yet.
I mean, when the original study was done, and I understand that it may be stale at this point, but they were talking about, savings of between 11 and $15 million, which is, I mean, significant. It could help pay for the debt service associated with the new jail. At some point in time, I'm assuming we'll have a sense of whether those numbers are real or not.
Mr. Abbo, I think we could safely say that when we were at 200 vacancies, we had done a rough projection that when the new jail was completed, we would be able to eliminate perhaps 100 of those 200 vacancies. But as time has passed on, we have continued to suffer from the attrition rate that has impacted our agency. And at our loss rate, we're now at a significantly higher vacancy rate than we were when the jail project began. And it just continues to go month by month, which is making it increasingly difficult for us to actually base the projection on what it will be when we actually get into the jail.
And actually, that kind of leads into the next question that I had. I mean, a staggering amount of FMLA, 328 officers. Can you give us a sense of, I mean, is it the fact that we're so far understaffed that's creating that problem?
I don't know that that's creating the problem. It's staggering to me as well. And as I often question that in my mind and in my head, and we can't get too far into the reasons and how this comes about. But I understand this is an issue within the county, period, not just the sheriff's office. And so I asked the same question, and I really can't answer that again, because as I start to try to dig further into why that is, I realize that I can't ask those questions because it's FMLA issues, and those are somewhat private issues. What I can tell you is that we check that status regularly to make sure that no one is going over the amount of time that they're given for their FMLA. But we've also found out that after that time has expired, oftentimes those that are on FMLA, they go back and get a renewal, so to speak, and they continue with the FMLA option. So I really can't speak to why that is or what it is. I been in law enforcement a long time, and I haven't seen anything like that at these numbers until recent. I mean, recent in the last 10 years or so, or maybe, yeah, somewhere around there. So I really can't tell you how that goes. I wish I could.
To that point, Mr. Abbo's point, Madam the Chair, my question to the sheriff, does that affect the overtime budget, the vacancy, all that vacancy? Is that boost the overtime budget?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
So the vacancies do create a wash. We don't have the people in the agency, but we do with the overtime that is being used to fill those positions. It's sort of a wash because we don't have we're not paying those budgeted positions, but we're using the overtime to help staff those positions. So it's looking like overtime is at an increase, but in actuality, we have vacant positions that we aren't paying as well. So it looks like it kind of evens out, or it washes itself out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Abbo,
No, I'm
floor is
good,
yours again.
No, I'm good, Madam Chair. Thank you, Sheriff Washington, and to you and your staff.
Thank you, and let me thank my staff as well. Some of these things, been in here 7 months now, and some of these things were already in effect prior to me becoming the sheriff, and my staff has been intimately involved in those kind of situations where I was pretty much running the jails, helping run the jails. So I thank my staff as well for being here to be on top of some of the intimate things that are details about the questions that you're asking. But
well, unfilled position has been a problem for many, many years. I'm hoping that opening the new jail and increasing compensation levels will help alleviate that problem.
I think it will. I really do think it will. Those two things you just said, sir, I think if we get that done, I think it will alleviate the problem.
At least help alleviate the problem.
Exactly, exactly. And again, keeping in mind again, as I said, this is lot, we're short in the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, but I promised you, I've done the research all over the nation in law enforcement. If you ask any police agency in this country, what is their issue, their main issue, and they will tell you staffing. They will tell you staffing. People just are not interested in law enforcement as they used to be. But I think we can change that, and we have to change that, because if we don't change it in the next 5 years, I don't know what law enforcement looks like in this country. And I don't want to live anywhere where there's not law enforcement, adequate law enforcement. So that's a nationwide issue. But here in Wayne County, we're doing everything we can to fix that within the Wayne County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, and we'll help you do that. I have a list. So far, we have Commissioner Martha G. Scott, Commissioner Basham, and Commissioner Anderson in that order. Commissioner Martha G. Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Sheriff Washington and your staff.
Good afternoon.
I want to thank you for getting active in recruiting. And I know that has been something that for the 10 years I've been down here, that there's always been a problem, but thank you for trying.
Yes.
Well, just the other day, I was over in my district in Hamtramck, and I was kind of bombarded with what's going to happen to Dickerson. I said, well, I have asked, and so far I don't know. So I'm going to ask you again today. Do you all have any plans or anything for Dickerson?
So we currently do not, and I assume you're talking after the new jail is built.
Yes, after the new jail is built. Yeah. Well, it reminded me of it when my other colleagues were talking about some buildings over in Western Wayne, so I said, well, let me find out what's happening in my neck of the woods. Yes.
I understand. And so we're not sure what's going to happen. You probably will know as soon as we know, but we don't have. I don't have the answer for that. Any of us done. None of us in our agency have an answer for that right now.
Okay. Now, Ashley, what is happening over there now in Dickerson?
So we currently have our tether unit that's working out of that unit. We have our food services working out of that unit. We have out of that building. We have our central transportation unit working out of that building. We have our laundry services working out of that building. So we're pretty much doing everything that we had been doing in that facility, other than serving our inmates. We moved the inmates from Division 3, which is a Hamtramck, over to Division 1, mainly because of staffing, to try to operate or best serve them in the manner that we should serve them with our staffing, by consolidating them, our inmate population, down to 2 jails. We are still running Division 3 to Hamtramck unit. There's a robust activity going on over there. So I don't want anybody to think we vacated the building. We have not.
Well, that is exactly what I said to them, but they said, oh no, there's some inmates there. I said, no, there are no inmates there, because I did find out that there were other activities over there, but no inmates. Okay.
We have those coming in and out of the building into our tether unit. When they're ordered to tether, we have them come in, we place tethers on them, and we're monitoring them out of that building regularly. We're enrolling them and monitoring them over at the Hamtramck.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you and your staff for all that you do. Appreciate it.
Just let your people in Hamtramck know that it's still a public safety building.
Right.
And we have officers in there to serve them if they come to our building for whatever need they may have.
Okay, I will do.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. You're welcome. Commissioner Basham and Anderson, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And first of all, I'm listening, paying attention to this for a number of reasons. and one of the things, wages are important, but working conditions are important also. And I respect the hardworking people in the sheriff's department. It blew my mind to go to the Marine Patrol and see them, the folks that go out and pick up the bodies out of the Detroit River that serves the entire Wayne County and actually the other side of the border, Canada. But they go up and down that river and they do other places too. But walking on pallets to go out to get in their boats. And then the building that they were in had rodents under it in it. It's like, so I really appreciate you, Madam Chair, and the rest of the commission for stepping up and actually funding a new dock, and also for supporting a building so the Marine Patrol can continue to serve. As far as Henry Ruff, and that's the reason I pushed the button to speak for a quick second. It needs a lot of work. We got 1950s. You can find efficiency sometimes by replacing things like faucets and lights and all those sorts of things, but there's a limit to how much we can do in a short amount of time. And so I'm not gonna, I've been nudging folks, but I'm not gonna start really pushing that issue until we get this Marine Patrol stuff done. And then I think we as an entire commission should actually go out there and I'll buy you lunch. Because I appreciate all of us working together and noticing things that really need to be updated. The folks that go out there and protect us, 24/7, deserve a work environment that's somewhat friendly. It's not just about the wages. It's about your colleagues. It's about the work environment, the lights, the restrooms, those are the gun range, everything. So we have a lot of work to do. It's continual. But I really appreciate us rowing together as a commission, as an administration, and also the Sheriff's Department. So thank you so very much, all of you.
Thank you,
I'm done.
Commissioner. Appreciate it.
And we accept your invitation
Thank you,
to the lunch.
Commissioner.
We accept Commissioner Basham invitation to the lunch, and I will keep that in mind.
So also commissioners and Basham especially, based on what you said, we do look forward to next year's budget talks and how we can best get some of these things done as well. We appreciate what you've done out at the Marine unit and what you're going to be doing. And we just look forward to continued talks on how we best fix our buildings that we serve, where we serve the public and where our officers work.
I think being proactive is very good because whether it's next year's budget or the budget after, when we do realize some of the savings when we move into the new jail, then we'll be a little bit better position. But it is also always good to have the numbers behind all the asks that you're going to be coming to us for, so that we have some idea as to how to plan ahead. And it's always good to also go to the executive to make sure that he's on board with some of the ideas, so we can all share the burden for getting everything done.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chief, our Sheriff, I just wanted to ask you this. Have we looked into employing a consultant or consultants to deal with the issue with the FMLA? Because I've heard from other people in the Sheriff's Department also that that is a huge problem, and consultants might be a way to come up with suggestions to get a handle on this situation.
So we have not, I have not personally, or I don't think any of my staff has personally looked into consultants to deal with FMLA. It's handled by the CEO's office, and that's where we are. It maybe it's something we can look into, but we have not at this point. every time I started to, when I wasn't in this position, I guess I can start to look at it differently. When I wasn't in for this position, I was in another position as a deputy chief or a chief. You know, I had the same concerns, and I would often ask, well, what about these FMLAs? And I was always told, well, you know, you can't dive too far into that. That's, you know, that's medical stuff. That's things that you can't, you know, really dig into. And so I was cut off at that point. But it's a concern. And again, I was told it's a county concern, not just the sheriff's office concern. So that's where we are. You know, we comply with the law as it talks about people and exercising their rights. And they have a right to this FMLA situation. And again, we're guided by it and held to the accountable to the point that if they receive an FMLA through their doctors, that's where it is.
I think we all support, you know, legitimate uses of that. But sometimes I know in the person that from within the sheriff's department that talked to me said it's having a detrimental effect on the rest of the workforce because they see that people are some are abusing it. And that's, and I understand what you're saying, that basically someone else has got to make that decision possibly.
Yeah, I hear you, Commissioner, and I, you know, I could have those thoughts in my head as well. But you know, what we think about and what we're able to say out loud, you know, is kind of two different things. I just, you know, I don't want to be the one to question someone's legitimacy in FMLA. Somebody else would have to do that. Fortunately enough, I'm just happy in my 38-year career that I've never had to use FMLA. And so I don't, you know, again, I have questions that I keep to myself and just abide by and respect what the law says we have to do.
Okay, all right.
Does it create a hardship in my opinion? Because I do run this agency. Absolutely, absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
So I can say that.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner, would you spell out the acronym, please?
Family Medical
What it
Leave
stands
Act.
for the public who are. Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure. Commissioner Baker McCormick, you're next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing, Sheriff Washington.
Thank you.
In particular, I wanted to ask about West Outer Drive and the drag racing. I don't know if the shortage of sheriffs isn't affecting how the area is monitored, but there has been we received many calls on the issues of drag racing in that area. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that and where you are on that issue.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you for asking that. As you receive calls, the last couple of weeks ago, I received the same calls. Let me first say, we're out there as the Wayne County Sheriff's Office assisting the city of Detroit in their drag racing and drifting efforts, trying to shorten that and get that done. But let me say, I got calls on a couple of weeks ago as well in the Grand River and Oakland area. They were doing the same thing, and they have been doing that over in the city of Detroit, and over in the Outer Drive and Vassar area, where they're in front of City Council member Roy McAllister's home and other judges' homes and council people's homes as well. And it was out of control. It was they were literally filming it, and the councilman had me on the phone, and I could hear them, and it was something that I'd never ever witnessed before. in the city of Detroit and what they were actually doing with the crowd, with the young girls out there dancing. And it was, I could not believe what was happening. And I called my friends in the Detroit Police Department, the leadership that runs the Detroit Police Department, and told them what was happening. And unfortunately, at the same time, because I talk about how short staffing is, at the same time, they had 7 people shot on that Sunday on Asbury Park and 6 Mile. And so they had everybody that they had in the 12th precinct working that shooting, while the drag races and drifters were literally going crazy on Out of Drive and Vassar. So what I can tell you is that we're out there every other week with the support that we can offer with the Detroit Police Department, helping them along the way, helping them to try to get rid of this drag racing and drifting activity that's going on all over the city. But there's prominent pastors and leaders in the community that are concerned, as well as ourselves who live and work and travel through the community. And we're concerned about it. And if it doesn't stop, I think it's going to lead into other things, other criminal activity. And so we're out there doing what we can, Commissioner, and working with the Detroit Police Department to try to curb some of that activity.
And is there, and I don't know if there has been any thoughts in the past, or maybe you do have cameras. I don't know if that's something you've thought about, cameras at certain locations.
Oh.
Is that in?
That's a Detroit police issue. And I can say that I was in a meeting with them and the governor yesterday, and they are looking at the chief, James White, in the Detroit Police Department, did mention that he's very pro-camera active, an advocate for cameras, not just in the green light properties where they have cameras, but even on the freeways, that they have a rash of freeway shootings, and even in the community. But at the same time, they have to balance that with the community not feeling like they're being spied on, so to speak, and invading their privacy. So they have some thoughts and ideas about that they're going to try to look further into. But again, that's the city of Detroit issue, and other cities in Wayne County. We're there to assist them. You know, our biggest thing we do are the jails in the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. But that's not the only thing we're going to do. As I came into this position, I said, we're going into the community and we're going to help the community. And I think all of you commissioners on this call noted, we've been in your districts doing what we can to help the neighborhood police officers in Detroit Police Department and other cities fight crime, dealing with quality of life issues as well. And that drag racing and drifting is definitely a quality of life issue.
Yes, and my last question has to do with quality of life as well. I've been fighting the war on trash in my district from day one since I became commissioner. And I was wondering if there is a way that commissioners can issue blight tickets of any kind, if you have the authority to authorize such.
So what I would suggest, Commissioner, again, because I know your district is in Detroit, your neighborhood police officers in those areas are the ones that can deal with that blight and write those kind of tickets that become city ordinances. So I don't know where you are with that, or if you have.
I've reached out to them. I was just wondering if you had any powers in that sense to allow or deputize. Just a question. I just thought about.
Yeah, we can't authorize anyone to write those kind of, write you or anyone else to write those kind of blight violation tickets. No, we can't.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. our counsel, Felicia Johnson.
Through the chair, I wanted to offer 2 comments for information purposes. So first, with regards to the discussion with FMLA, that is a federal law. It's something that we are required to comply with. And there's no way for the county not to comply with it. It's a law and people have rights under that law. And so as long as they qualify and they provide the proper documentation from their doctors, they're entitled to it. I'll also state that everyone.
Thank you for saying what I just said, ma'am. I appreciate it.
I was going to take it a step further.
Yes.
So everyone should be aware that we've had these ongoing meetings with Judge Kinney because he's over the consent order. This issue has been raised in that context. And I do know from that context that the administration was asked by Judge Kinney to look into the matter, and they did so. I can't tell you all the steps and actions that they took as far as looking into it, but it has been reviewed by the administration. And again, this is where we are, and this was a couple of years ago, I think, to address the FMLA. And it's just a limited amount of things that the county can do to address it, but the administration has looked at it per Judge Kinney's request during those proceedings.
Thank you so much. And as it relates to the CEO's office as well, the disability manager deals with that FMLA issue. We as a sheriff's office, we don't and cannot.
Okay, thank you. Chair Alicia Bell.
Good afternoon. I just want to thank the sheriff for the community policing that he's been engaged in. A few years back, we had the Scout program, but we had to discontinue it due to funding. And I know the sheriff has recently instituted something similar, being in the neighborhoods, providing support to the local police department. So I'm very appreciative of that and hopeful that that will continue, because the residents are also very, very appreciative of the presence, because sometimes just having the presence will deter crime in our neighborhoods. So thank you so much for that. And I look forward to continuing to work with you on the budget, especially moving forward with that Henry Ruff and providing an out county good location for you and the clerk's office. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Bell. And I really appreciate your support, and we appreciate you going out with us to even see what it is that we're doing in the community. Again, I could not imagine being the lead of one of the largest agencies in the state of Michigan and not having some kind of relationship and enforcement and service provided to the community of Wayne County. So thank you for that. And thank you for your support. And to answer your question, we will, as long as I'm the sheriff, continue to engage the community and serve the community in dealing with those quality of life issues that we've discovered that the citizens in those communities want to see rectified in real time. So that's what we're out there doing, and we'll continue to do that.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Did we fund the drug unit this year? Or are we?
Through the chair, Sumaya Harp.
The drug unit?
Oh, go ahead, Sumaya.
Through the chair, Sumaya Harp, Director of Administration at the Sheriff's Office, we did submit, yes, we do have overtime expenditures and revenue coming in for the drug unit, the narcotics unit, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's always helpful when they're out with the drug unit and people do see the vehicles in the community. So we appreciate that. That's very important. And Sheriff, I hope that we get to the day when we can go back to about 20 years ago when, or whenever it was that the executive was the sheriff, and we had all these different units assigned from cyber to all of the other units, that we had a very robust drug unit and some others, morality unit. Yes. And so hopefully with the new jail opening up and with the savings and vision from your leadership and the executive, that maybe we can go back to some of those days that some just hear about, but we experienced, and that was so enriching to our communities all over Wayne County.
No, I totally agree with you, Commissioner. Back then, you know, some time ago, we had about 1,300 officers in the agency, and we don't have those numbers. We don't have those numbers right now, but you know, with your support, we can and going into the new jails, where we think we're going to be able to free up some officers as we continue to recruit. We'll be able to do some more things in the community and be able to serve those those different cities in Wayne County in the manner that you just articulated. So I'm with you, and with your support, the commissioner's support, the commission's support, we should be able. We look forward to doing that.
Madam Chair.
Sounds great. Yes.
Madam Chair, Glenn Anderson.
Who was it?
Just wanted, along the same lines of what you're talking about right now, I think the trafficking issue and the child abuse, the internet act group are the force that we had, the special panel or special group that worked on that constantly. I look forward to us putting something together and trying to find the money to reinstate that. And I also think it might even help with recruitment, that we have some of the officers that might be attracted to coming in and working on those particular issues, that hopefully we can find the money and would give a possibility of advancement. I think that's probably a big issue within the department from what I've heard, that there's not everyone wants to work in the jail for a lengthy amount of time. I think we'd like to get back to the days, and I'm sure the sheriff would agree. I'd like to get back to the days where a new officer coming in would be there maybe for a year or two, and then have a chance for a promotion into a different type of position within the department. And I think that would benefit in the recruiting end of it, as well as making our community safer.
Commissioner Anderson, you're absolutely correct. I love what you're saying, because that's what I say all the time. As relates to, you know, we just had a big internet crime situation that we were able to solve, and I mean that having an internet crime unit, as these as our young people are in and out of school, don't know if they're going to be in school or not, whatever. You know, they're using the computers and they're using the internet, and it just disturbs me that you know, we're not in a position where we would want to be. We're getting it done through help of our partnerships and other agencies, but it's a real issue with our children and being on the internet for school and whatever else, whatever other means they need to be on, the reasons they need to be on the internet for. We need to protect them. We need to watch that very closely. And we were able to save a child, and her parents were very instrumental in making that happen, who discovered some activity that was going on, and this young man almost was able to get to her, and we all know how that possibly would have turned out, but we were able to intervene on that and get that done and solve that. But yeah, if we had an internet unit, if we had those kind of things in place, we definitely could do even more. So looking forward to that as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I think we're all on the same page in trying to give you the tools to do the maximum allowed and maximum service that you could possibly do, provide and would provide. I'm getting tired, as you can tell. I've been on this all day.
No, you're not alone.
Anyone else? Just talking. Sometimes it's nice to be silent, huh? Anyone else on the commission or commission staff or your staff, Officer Jayford, did you want to say something? I see your name on the list here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Actually, I was going to say what you said in reference to the future and what the past held, and you said it for me. So I was just going to reiterate that and pretty much what Commissioner Anderson stated. But I would like to add that we are, in reference to the drag racing, Commissioner McCormick, we are out every other weekend assisting Detroit. We'll give them about 16 police cars with a total of 30 bodies, roughly. We have a robust reserve division that's very well trained, probably one of the best reserve divisions in the state of Michigan, and that's how we're able to supplement and assist Detroit. But that drag racing, I just wanted to make sure you're aware that Detroit is on us every other weekend to assist them. And I sincerely appreciate the support of this commission and the fact that you guys understand that we do have some issues that we would like to see the future, what the future holds in a positive light, because this whole county depends on us. We get complaints every day. And like the sheriff said, we just got this thug off the streets that was going after young girls. We answer the call. The sheriff Washington is not going to receive a complaint and say, well, here, let me turn it over. We're going to take that complaint. And as you know, Commissioner Varga, when you gave us a drug complaint back in the day, we take care of business. We have great officers. Commissioner Basham, all you guys been out there. You see what we do. They work hard, and we sincerely appreciate your support.
Thank you, Under Sheriff. And
Oh my gosh.
Commissioner, I just wanted to say to the sheriff here, to what the Under Sheriff was saying, we do that with our reserve units as well as working in conjunction with our full-time road patrol units and our narcotic units as well. So they're out there doing it as a team, our reserves as well as our full-time officers that work in the street as well.
Oh my gosh, that takes me back so much. It was around Christmas time one year when somebody gave me a tip on Facebook Messenger, and I called the sheriff at that time, and I said, I need the drug unit to work with me, and I actually gave them my Facebook, access my Facebook with the password and all, so we could communicate back and forth behind the scenes. And the gentleman the guy that we were looking for at the time was a first-time murderer or murderer of one. And by the time we got a hold of him in Inkster, the sheriff did, he was like, he killed 3 people. So he was very dangerous. And so I am very intimately aware of how important it is to have all of us be involved. But your unit really, really got onto it. It took us a couple of months, but by golly, we got them all in Inkster. So from Detroit to Inkster, and Detroit couldn't have done that because, only Wayne County could go over the jurisdiction. So that was one eye-opening experience for me of what the Sheriff's Department actually can do. So thank you very much. That was a very, very great reminder of how we can all get involved, actually giving tips that could save lives.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Well, Sheriff Washington, thank you very much.
Thank you. We're all set. Appreciate it.
Anyone else from the commission? Mr. Abel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 2 meetings next week. Just a reminder to everybody. On August 10th, we'll be hearing from the Circuit Court and Homeland Security. It'll be right after our regular Ways and Means meeting. And then on Thursday will be day 6. We'll be hearing from Senior Services, Health, Human and Veteran Services, and Economic Development. And that meeting starts at 10 o'clock. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, next item.
Item D, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I I have none.
Next item, item E, public comments. Everyone, if
Please
you'd ask to
unmute
unmute themselves.
everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Did we get any emails?
No emails.
Could you
have been
please read
received.
it?
No emails have been
Oh,
received.
no emails. Okay. Thank you. Anyone from the public wishing to comment today? Please do so. Anyone from the public wishing to comment? Anyone from the public wishing to comment? I hear none. Next item.
Item F, adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
And supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you, everyone.